project. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself in the chat, then we'll know who we have in the room with us. We're very happy to have you here today. And during our presentations, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And I'm going to hand the floor now to our moderator, Mr. Derek Capolo of the Farmers Union of Malawi. Over to you, Derek. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jory. Once again, welcome to the guests that have joined online as we are launching these game changer platforms for Malawi's agri-food system. As Jory has indicated, my name is Derek Capolo. I will be the Director of Ceremonies for the afternoon. I work for Farmers Union of Malawi as the Program Manager and also as the Head of Agribusiness. But before we get to the business of the day, let me just set the context as why we are here. As a background, I think we are aware that as a country, Malawi, we continue to face unprecedented frequency and intensity of extreme weather events, big drought, cyclones, floods. Unfortunately, the occurrence of these events significantly affect our farmers and our food systems. And just recently, we have had a report by the Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee that is indicating that as a country, about 4 million people are in urgent need for food assistance. So this food assistance will not come cheap. I think already estimates are talking about 187 billion which will be spent as we'll be supporting households that are in need of food. But at the same time, we're also looking at the households that are in need of agriculture imports. And all this still boils to the vulnerability status of the country in as far as climate change is concerned. So this background signifies the importance of having timely data that would inform decision-making around agri-sector and agri-food systems. And today, we are launching platforms that are going to take us in that direction so that as stakeholders, we are able to access information at our fingertips, and that information will be able to inform our decision-making processes. More importantly, these two platforms, they are bringing together a number of aspects, be it agriculture, climate information, and also issues to do with household nutrition security and vulnerabilities. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Professor Alfred Malwa for his opening remarks. But before he does that, I just wanted to recognize the presence of some of the speakers this afternoon. We have Dr. Baba Femi, who is the Chief Executive Officer for PAFO. We have Dr. Demis, who is the Managing Director for Academia 2063. And we also have Julie, who just introduced the discussion. And then we have Dr. Tankali, who is the Deputy Director and Head of Policy for Modernity Unit at Academia 2063. We also have Dr. Kadim, who is a Senior Associate Scientist at Academia Edu. We have Ms. Barbara, Project Lead at GIZ. And then we have Mr. Jacob Onirongo, who is the Chief Executive Officer from the Farmers Union of Malawi. And of course, more importantly, distinguished guests that have joined the deliberation this afternoon. So without further ado, as I indicated, I would like to give the floor to Professor Malwa, Director of Research at MAST, to provide his welcoming remarks. Professor Malwa, you have the floor. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me put my... All right, thank you very much, Mr. Capolo. I would like to recognize all the distinguished guests to this meeting from academia and also from Farmers Union and also from Ministry of Agriculture. GIZ is here, and all the distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I would like to welcome you this afternoon to this meeting where we are going to witness the launch of two platforms. That's the Africa Agriculture Watch and then the Food Systems Crisis Observatory and the Response. We are very, very delighted that, this project, the DERPIn, has reached this far. From its humble inception last year, a number of activities have been undertaken, and today we are ready to launch these two platforms. As already alluded to by the previous speaker, the Africa Agriculture Watch platform for us is very, very important as a nation, but also as an implementing institution, the Malawi University of Science and Technology, because it will have the statistics based on remote sensing data and also crop production focus and also crop maps. This is very, very important because the way our nation has been handling the issues of forecasting for yields, especially the staple food maize, has been very, very fragmented. Sometimes you have it on time, sometimes you don't have it. And that has also affected the planning that we may wish to have. And the Food Systems Crisis Observatory and Response is also very, very important, especially these days, as already alluded to by Mr. Kapol, that we are having extreme weather conditions that are also affecting crop production, and especially also, of course, the staple maize. So these two platforms will assist the nation to forecast and then so that plans can be made right on time. So I welcome you all to this workshop, and let us all contribute. Feel free to contribute so that in the end we have things that will enable us to plan ahead before disaster strike, before we go into food crisis and everything. Well, we'll be able to plan and see how to mitigate against the adverse effects that may come. So welcome all, and with these few remarks, I would like to welcome you all and then hand over to the convener for further program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Malua, for the welcoming remarks. Indeed, the platform that we are launching today, contributing to the work that the government is already doing and other stakeholders are already doing. But the point is, how can we digitalize so that we have this information at fingertips so that we have informed decision-making processes and also, more importantly, hastened decision-making processes. So, Professor Malua, you have said it all, that as project partners, we have also been working with the government, and through that collaboration, we are happy today that we are now launching these platforms. So to proceed with our program, I request Mr. Jacob Nyirongo, who is the CEO for Farmers Union of Malawi, to also provide his welcoming remarks. Mr. Nyirongo, you have the floor. Thanks.
Thank you, moderator. Please confirm if you're able to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, please.
All right, thank you so much. Let me join Professor Malua to acknowledge distinguished guests from academia but also from GIZ and Malawi University of Science and Technology, and colleagues from the Farmers Union of Malawi. I would like to begin by thanking you all for making time to be here today, this afternoon, to witness the launch of the two digital platforms developed through the DERPIn project. And let me in a special way extend our sincere appreciation to Academia 2063, GIZ, and the Pan-African Farmers Organization, and the Malawi University of Science and Technology for the strong collaboration we have enjoyed over the past 2 years. For us, this project has truly been a team effort, and it's been a privilege for Farmers Union of Malawi to be part of it. Being involved in DERPIn has been especially important to us as a union, as the project speaks directly to the needs and realities of the Malawian farmers. As you are aware, Malawi agri-food systems continue to face many challenges, from some of the issues that the moderator highlighted, like the unpredictable weather and frequent climate shocks, limited access to reliable markets, lack of timely information, and fragmented extension and advisory services. To this effect, statistics clearly indicate that just in the past few years, farmers have been affected by droughts, floods, and cyclone events that disrupt the entire food systems and rural economies. According to the 2024 report by the World Bank, climate-related shocks already cost Malawi about 1.7% of GDP each year. And worse still, many decisions that impact agriculture and food security are made without adequate data, or without fully including the voices and living realities of farmers themselves. This is very worrisome, considering that a recent study by Academia 2063 shows that when policies are not grounded in reliable data, there is a higher risk of misallocation of resources and failing to reach the most vulnerable populations. This is why the launch of these two platforms is so meaningful and timely. So the platforms, the Africa Agriculture Watch and the Food Systems Crisis Observatory and Response, which Professor Malwa already spoke about, will help us to move towards a new era of evidence-based decision-making, smarter planning, and more inclusive agriculture policies. To us as farmers, but also to policymakers, to researchers, and the development partners, these platforms offer practical, usable insights. They provide real-time data on crop conditions, vulnerability assessments, and nutrition adequacy mapping, all of which are essential for planning and responding to shocks. It is for this reason that we, as Farmers Union of Malawi, we feel proud to be part of this process, to have been part of this process. Right? And we are happy today to join all of you in launching these two game-changer innovations. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyirongo. I think you have said it all, that this platform will not only just benefit the farmers, but will also bring together all the actors within agri-food systems to make sure that our agriculture really get transformed, and more importantly, becomes more resilient. So moving further with our program, we planned to have Director Soko from the Ministry of Agriculture, who is the director in the Department of Agriculture Extension and Extension Services. But we have just been notified that he is in a meeting, a management meeting at the ministry. So we just move straight to the next agenda on the program. That is just a presentation from Julie on the project overview for the DERPIn project. So Julie, you have the floor. Please take us through the project overview.
Thank you very much, moderator. Please let me know in case you can't see my screen.
Yes, we can see it, Julie. We can see the screen.
Great, thank you, and welcome again, everybody. Again, I'm Julie Collins of Academia 2063. I was the coordinator of the DERPIn project, and I'm going to tell you just a bit of background information about the project and what our goals were before we move to the presentation of the digital platforms that we developed. So DERPIn stands for Digitally Enabled Resilience and Nutrition Policy Innovations. And as you heard from our previous speakers, it's a project that hopes to increase the availability of information and evidence through digital tools in order to help not only policymakers, but all types of food system actors to respond to and prepare for shocks. This project was commissioned by the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and carried out on behalf of GIZ, implemented by Academia 2063, which is my organization headquartered in Rwanda, in collaboration with the Pan-African Farmers Organization and with local farmer organizations and with research partners in 5 African countries, including Malawi. And as we've talked about before, we all know from the past 5 years, certainly, but from time before that also, that shocks can have a very devastating impact on the economic development and on well-being in African countries. We know we've just been looking at Academia 2063 at developments over the past 20 years since the beginning of CAADP, the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, and seen how the very good growth in many African countries of the early 2000s was really hampered by weather shocks, including the previous El Nino event and the most recent El Nino event, by the COVID pandemic, by the Ukraine-Russia war, which caused market shocks and food price inflation. So we know that African countries are often very vulnerable to shocks, and these shocks can have very devastating impacts due to the high levels of vulnerability and low ability to absorb shocks and prepare for them. And one of the reasons that shocks are so hard to prepare for is that there is a lack of data to allow policymakers, but also other decision makers, to plan and respond to shocks. So we are hoping to harness digital technologies, which are making information more available than ever before, in order to increase the availability of information that decision makers can use to prepare for and respond to shocks. And we hope to increase the capacity of governments, of private sector companies, of farmers, farmer organizations, NGOs, any decision makers, to access information and use it to inform their decisions. So in DERPIn, we have 2 main work streams, both of which use digital tools to increase the availability of information. The first work stream is on agricultural statistics based on remote sensing data. So using data from satellites and then using AI models to process this data and make sense of it. And through this satellite data, we're creating maps of current crop types so that it's known what is being grown where in the current season. We do yield forecasts and production forecasts and other statistics, including greenhouse gas concentrations, maps on crop type suitability, detection of anomalies in crop growth, etc. And my colleague, Mr. Hadam Jia, will be demonstrating the digital platform that shares this type of data. Our second work stream is on nutrient adequacy and community vulnerability. And here we use household survey data to estimate and map the adequacy of the intake of 13 different nutrients across the country at the district level. And we also use household survey data to map vulnerability along several different dimensions, and we form a composite vulnerability index. So these work streams are intended to help understand better what is the current situation in terms of hidden hunger, where can we expect to see the largest gaps in intake of nutrients, where are people at risk of having nutrient deficiencies. And we also want to look at better understanding the patterns of vulnerability, which can also help to prepare for crises. So these data and information, we share them via several different events, as well as digital platforms that we have just developed and which we're going to be launching today. So DERPIn, as I said, is active in 5 countries. In Malawi, DERPIn was a collaboration with the Malawi University of Science and Technology and with the Farmers Organization of Malawi, which is a member of the Southern African Confederation of Agricultural Unions and of PAFO. And with our partners, we carried out data collection, which then was used to create the crop modeling and do the production forecasts and other statistics. We also have carried out the mapping of nutrient adequacy and vulnerability and refined that in collaboration with our partners. And also have carried out several different capacity strengthening and outreach events. Maybe some of you have participated in our previous events. And so thank you very much to the DERPIn partners in Malawi for all of your work in accompanying the project and in making this happen in Malawi. After this overview, my colleague, Dr. Mohamedou Tankari, will be presenting the FS Core platform. That is the Food Systems Crisis Observatory and Response platform, and that's the platform that shares the nutrient adequacy and vulnerability data. And after that, Mr. Khadim Jah will present the Africa Agriculture Watch platform, which shares the agricultural data. Then we'll have some time for discussion and questions from you, and also we'd be interested in your feedback and your thoughts on how this information could be used before we go to our closing. So thank you very much, Zikomo, and back to you, Mr. Moderator. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jory. Quite interesting. I think the presentation gives an overview of what the project has been on, and also has stimulated the interest from the guests to really have an understanding of the platforms and also to experience the platform. So with that, I would like to give the platform to Dr. Tankari to make this presentation on the first platform, which is the food system crisis observation repository. So Dr. Tankari, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you can hear me and see my screen.
We hear you and see you, Tankari. Could you get a little closer to the microphone? Because you're a little quiet, I think.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
That's good. Thank you.
Great. So thank you, Mr. Moderator. It's my pleasure today to present you one of the key products under the DERPIn project. So this product is a platform that we develop. So this platform aims to provide data that can inform decision-making in how to identify the areas that are vulnerable in Malawi and which type of intervention can be implemented. So I think this is a great achievement under this project. Today, I'm going to demonstrate the capabilities of the tool and also its key component. So what we can do. So yes, as I said, the different capabilities of the tool. So there is a platform that has been developed for Malawi, specific to Malawi, like other 5 or Yes, those are DERPIn countries. So in this platform, we have two components. So the first component, it's a profile. So it's provides a country profile. So for Malawi. So under this profile, it's possible to display the vulnerability level of the different districts of Malawi. So the vulnerability that is considered here, we know that vulnerability is something that is multidimensional. It means that we have a vulnerability, for example, to health shocks. It can be nutritional vulnerability, or vulnerability to food insecurity, or vulnerability to climate change. So under this platform, we consider or factor in all these dimensions in order to come up with an index that measures the vulnerability. So it's an index that measures the composite vulnerability. So here you can see on my screen here, on the platform, we can see the vulnerability level based on the composite vulnerability index of the different districts of Malawi. So it's possible to really zoom in order to see the level of the value of the index for a specific district in Malawi. For example, we can see that if we consider Rumfi, this district, it's considered as much less vulnerable. So one important thing here to mention, the classifications that we have here is something that is relative. So it's within the country, we consider based on the national average, which district is much less vulnerable, which one is vulnerable as described here in the legend. We have much less vulnerable, more vulnerable, and much more vulnerable. So it's relative to the country. So if we have, for example, to prioritize or to identify which location need to be prioritized or targeted in terms of intervention. So this map shows us where effort need to be targeted or concentrated. In addition to this vulnerability, we index, which is the composite one, it's possible also to see the vulnerability by considering the different dimensions. For example, when we focus on vulnerability to climate change, we can see that there are some regions that are more vulnerable than others. So it's possible by using this platform to identify this location and then design appropriate intervention for the different districts. So that is the idea here, or one of the capability of this platform. Then after the vulnerability, it's also possible to display the nutrient adequacy. So the nutrient adequacy here, what we have here, we have some indicators that has been developed based on 13 nutrients, including protein, calorie, and other type of vitamins. So we can see them, the different type of nutrients that are considered. We have calcium, folate, iron, niacin, protein, riboflavin, thiamine, vitamin A, vitamin B6, and zinc. So here, when we select specific, here the map that is displayed, it shows us the level of adequacy for calorie in Malawi for the different district. So we can see that the level is satisfactory, which is because we can see that when it's greener, it means that we are close to 100%. So it means that in terms of calorie, the level is really adequate in all districts of Malawi. In addition to that, we can select a specific district. Just let me select one. And then we can have the profile or the value for other nutrients. So we can see that here for this Mzimba district, what is the level of adequacy, for example, for calcium, for folate, iron, niacin, protein, riboflavin. So these are good indicators of the nutritional status of the household in that district. And in addition to that, we can also have the nutrient adequacy by household gender. So when we consider them in terms of male and female. And this is also, there is also important results that can be displayed here. For example, when we consider vitamin B12, we can see that the household headed by male display a higher level of nutrient adequacy compared to one headed by a female. But when we consider other nutrients like niacin, we can see now that the household headed by female display an adequate nutrient level that is more adequate compared to household headed by male. So I think in terms of policy, it has some implication. So these type of results are very important in terms of policy design, and it can really help for each specific nutrient, which type of household need to be targeted for every district. So another important information that is also displayed for this specific district that we selected, it's possible to display the top 5 food products consumed in that district. For example, the one that we just selected, Menzimba. We can see that when we consider calorie, in terms of top 5 food products, we have cooking oil, green maize, maize flour, soybean flour, sugar. That are the top 5 products in terms of food products that household consume, or the ones that bring calorie to household. So this is, we also have the price units for the different food products that are considered. And it's also possible to know the budget share that is allocated to the different type of product. So this is, I think, an important information. You can see that here, it's maize, up to 30% of the budget is allocated to maize flour. Then we can also know the share of nutrient, so their contribution in terms of nutrient. We can also see that it's maize that is leading here, that is the top. Then we have others like green maize. And finally, it's also possible to see the nutrient content for the different products, because this is something also important to know. So if for the foods that are being consumed, the one that are considered as the top, if they are the ones that are dense in terms of nutrient, or these nutrients that we are interested in. So it's something important, because it also helps us identify products that can be used, for example, in terms of fortification, or that can serve as vehicle for fortification. So this is what I would like to share with you in terms of profile, the vulnerability. So it's possible to locate, to identify the areas that are the most vulnerable within the country or the district. And then for each district, it's possible to see the profile in terms of nutrient adequacy for the different nutrients that we consider here. And finally, we can have also the information about the top 5 products in terms of, we can have information on their price, the budget share allocated, their contribution in terms of nutrient, and then we can also have the information in terms of the nutrient content, so how dense they are in terms of nutrient that we are interested in. So this is the first component of this platform. Then in addition to that, which is something that is really descriptive, but very interesting, because it shows us what is the current situation. It's possible now to simulate. So to really anticipate, if we want to implement an intervention in Malawi. So when there is a shock, we all know that shocks, intensity and frequency are increasing. So we will face different types of shocks. But most of them, at the end, what they have in common, they will, for example, we can have some climate shocks that can directly impact our production. So a production system, which means that they will affect the yield. At the end, they will affect food supply, so which will impact the prices in the market. So, and which will also affect household, the affordability of food. So how the nutrient, the food that is consumed by household or that are demanded by the household. We can also have other type of shocks which are not going to directly impact the production, but they will just disrupt the trade. We know that on the market we have the supply of food is formed by local or domestic production and also foods that are imported. But at the end of the day, if we have a shock that disrupts trade, it will impact the food supply, which affect the prices of the market, and which will also have some consequences on household food demand and consumption. So on this platform, this second component, its objective is to help us see the impact when, for example, the price change or income change, depending on the type of shock that we are dealing, we can see how it will affect the nutrient adequacy of household. So this is something very important because this indicator is not just an indicator of nutritional status of household, but it's also an indicator of household livelihood. What it means, it's really help us to know, for example, even the status, how household status in terms of poverty is changing, how household level of health or productivity is even also changing, because it's determined or it represents the quality of food that we are consuming, which is also determined by the income and prices. So that is why here our main policy instrument are income and prices. So let's do one example or simulate an example of policies that we want to, before its implementation, we want to know its impact on household. So if we consider an intervention in a specific district like Kasangu, for example, there is a project in that district that aim to increase the household income based on the different interventions that are designed by 20%. So we can see how this will really impact the nutritional status of household in that district. So here we can select the level of increase that we want to achieve, and then we just have to simulate. Okay, let me, because I already have the value, let me consider 25%. So it will automatically generate the expected value or the predicted value of the nutrient adequacy for the different nutrient. For example, at the baseline that is displayed on the left, we can see that for vitamin A, the level of adequacy is not satisfactory. It's below 40%. So it's right here. But after the intervention, we will expect an increase or an improvement of nutrient adequacy for vitamin A. Here, it will reach 65%, which is something very important or good to highlight. And then we can also see that even if for vitamin B12, the increase is still below 50%, that we consider as a good or a satisfactory level, it will also improve. So it will reach 26%. So this means that this component will help us to anticipate or measure the expected impact of specific interventions that aim to increase household income. So as I said, that our main policy instrument here are income increase, because we know that it's possible to do some cash transfer, like some immediate assistance to household. It's also possible to household design intervention in the short term, medium term, or in the long term. So if, for example, we have some intervention that really want to support or the prices, how to make access to food more affordable to household. For example, interventions that aim to stabilize food prices. Let's consider one food prices here, food group. Let's consider cereal. For example, in case of a policy that aim to really make food more affordable to household, so we can see how it will impact the nutrient adequacy of household. So this is the baseline situation. So after the intervention, this platform is able to display the anticipated or the predicted value of nutrient adequacy for the different nutrients considered under this analysis. So we can see that if we consider the calorie here, so the initial adequacy level was 87%, but it will increase and reach up to 89%, which is also something good to highlight. So it means that we can expect that this policy will really impact the nutrient adequacy of our household. And also it's a good indicator of livelihood. So how the livelihood is really improving in a specific location. In addition to the simulation, we can target, for example, a specific food group like cereal. It's also possible to really target a specific food item. So it's possible to simulate that. For example, rice, if there's an intervention focusing on food, on rice prices. So this tool helps us to see how the changes, it can be a positive or negative impact or change, how it will affect the nutrient adequacy of the livelihood of household. Yeah. So as I said, the information that is displayed here is not only relevant for public, but also for private, because we know that improving the livelihood or some specific aspect like nutrition is something that need the contribution or participation of everyone, in particular in the different communities. For example, farmer can target how and implement or produce food that can help, that are dense in a specific nutrient, so they can improve the nutrient adequacy in their community. You know that when we increase the production, it's also possible in our community to really make this food or product more affordable to household. So this is also a way to contribute to improve in the improvement of the nutrient adequacy or overall livelihood in the different communities. So let me stop here and thank you for your attention. But before I end this presentation, I would like to mention that there is also the methodology that I think it will be updated. The platform will be updated, so the methodology will be available. How the different indicators have been computed, the data that has been used, as Julie explained, so in detail, so the specific information variables that has been used. I think this is also something very important to share in order to know the process that has been taken in order to generate the different results that are displayed here. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tankari. Quite interesting presentation. And what is even quite interesting is the changes that we are making with the platform. More is like the sensitivity analysis to say if you bring these changes, what changes can we anticipate to have? So it's really quite interesting platform. But I think we'll give the floor to the guest later. But I think immediately I would like to just give the platform to Dr. Kadim. I would just like to request our guests to make sure that you are taking notes so that when we get to the plenary, we should be able to refer properly to the issues that you need further clarification. So, Dr. Kadim, you have the floor to make a second presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. So allow me first to share my screen. Yes. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hudden, sorry.
yeah.
But can you put to, okay, sorry, Julie, you have the floor.
No problem. Yes, I think I was going to say the same thing as you. Oh, yes, it's in presentation mode now. Thank you.
That was screen. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Khadim Dia. So I'm a senior assistant scientist at Academia 2063. So I'm going to present the crop mapping and data related work, and also the forecast, production forecast that are doing in the DERPIn. But before presenting the platform, I would like just to walk you through the potential application and how maybe all this data can be of use for different stakeholders. So we start by creating a crop map, which is 10 by 10 meters. So meaning knowing where for example, maize are grown in Malawi, where the cassava is, where the rice is. So once we know that, we are able to understand and facilitate more the planning. So in terms of, for example, agricultural productivity, we are able to see, for example, identification of area where yield can be improved, because if we know where the crops are, and we know also combine that with the crop forecast, the climate, and the growing conditions in that area, we are able to see, for example, where we are doing good and where we need maybe improvement. And that it will be not at district level, but at pixel level, meaning that we can see maybe the difference even at community level, because when we do the averaging, sometimes we lose the details. Some may do good, better, and others maybe may face challenges, but when we do the averaging, we can say maybe everything is okay, while maybe there are some spots where we need to improve things. So this really helps to have like pinpoint where the problems are and resolve them in a better way. And also the innovation here is we are able to see at every moment of the year when we run the thing, we are able to see where the crops are, where the maize are, where the cassava are, and we are able also to see how much can we expect in terms of production. And I think that is really a game changer. And also for smallholder farmer, for example, we can support by providing information on best crops to plant, potential market opportunities, adapting to changing environment conditions, because also we are following the crop phenology metrics, trying to see if we are having shorter growing season, or maybe it's delayed, or we are following all those geophysical parameters and also the different crops. In terms also of gain in the agricultural statistics, for example, at government, we are able to see at any time through the year what is really happening on the ground, number of hectares, for example, allocated to each crops, along with assessment of crop protection practices. For example, if we run it this year, we are able to run it also next year, and even we can go backward and see what have been planted in those areas. So we can see, for example, if we respect the crop rotations in the recommendation from agronomists, or we can pinpoint maybe the problems if there is, and that is really something that is helpful. And also another point is that, for example, usually with the traditional way of gathering data was, for example, we do a national census to have, for example, where the crops are and how much the households are producing. But that will be, for example, the base, and we will be using that census, for example, and for each year, we will be just doing surveys and trying to extrapolate through the whole, for example, agricultural population. But with that, we are able to see for each year, having the real picture, for example, the real situation, not based on what happened, for example, on the last census, that maybe 10 years before. So now we have something really that is timely and more like up to date. Building soil suitability maps, it's also possible because now we have, for example, where if we have the maize around the country, we can see where we are having good yields, where we are doing maybe, where we are having maybe some issues and we need to improve. So once we have that, we can do the research and trying to see maybe what drives those performance, where people do better and where people need to improve. So that's also can orient maybe the intervention and even the research. In terms also of the farmer organization and also on the public sector, policy development and planning support evidence-based agriculture policy using up-to-date crop mapping and yield forecasting data. So knowing what is really going to happen and where is really a game changer, because now all the action and the policy we are doing will be driven by data and not mainly by just, we know that in this region, the average is that, but even in the region, we can pinpoint where to go and differentiate more the intervention, more tailored intervention at community level. I think that's also something that can be allowed by the forecast and the crop mapping at 10 by 10 meters. Even for the distribution of subsidies, for example, I know, for example, those where the maize are, for example, those who are doing more maize, maybe I need to give them more, and those maybe who do less maize, for example, and I need maybe to go to give them less input, and not, I will be just not giving the same amount, for example, to every, to hold the district, but now I need, for example, this area is maybe having X amount of maize, hectare of maize, so I need maybe to give them more because they are doing more, and I'm able also to back it up with the data. The extension services also and farmer support, they keep extension services also with the real-time data, advise farmer, and also facilitate climate smart agriculture, maybe by identifying area for improved resilience strategy. Maybe we can see while doing the crop mapping for several years, we can see, for example, in some area, there is a chronic maybe decrease of the yield. So we can investigate that and see really what is happening. So in terms also of agribusiness and food industry, we can say the supply chain or optimization. So we know, for example, when where to expect more maize, where to expect less maize. So in terms, for example, if I am an entrepreneur or I would like to buy maize, I know, for example, where to go to have maybe better price. And also in terms of market intelligence, so we can, even the farmer before, maybe I can see, for example, I can have the whole pictures, namely where the maize are in the region, where am I, maybe there is too much maize, maybe I need to go and sell in another market. And also in terms of contract farming, I know where the maize are. I can go, if I'm an agribusiness, I can go directly to them and see, for example, where to the contract farming. If I would like to have maize, I may go directly to them, because I can identify where the maize is. And I think that's also something very interesting, even for the agribusiness and also for the farm, because we are able to see the same data and do our decision accordingly. In terms also of public sector and farmer organization, we can do empower farmers cooperative, we access renewable data for collective decision making. Because if we are all in the same area, maybe we can decide, maybe, and we are seeing what is really happening. We can decide based on what we are having at the global level. Maybe we may not do maize this year because maybe there is a lot of maize elsewhere. Maybe we may do something else just to have more profits. All those action can be taken based on those data. So strengthen local governance in agriculture, so access to accurate and timely data, as just said. So food security also. If I know, for example, there will be a shortage in some area, I may have expected less maize. We are able to see it, and in which area. So the intervention can be tailored and can be designed at the early stage to avoid maybe having huge maybe food security issues. So I'm able to plan the emergency earlier, and maybe the action will be more for more rapid response. So I think that's also something, the identification of the crop and also the yield expected can be used for. So targeted product distribution also identify, for example, key farming zone needing specific inputs. Maybe we need, for example, we know that there are new coming in the market. When we run the model, we can see, for example, we have the traditional areas where people maybe are doing maize, but maybe there is no new coming. We may see that in the maps, and maybe they will need more advice and maybe more inputs just to be able to enhance the yield, and also optimize the logistics and marketing strategies, because if I'm seeing the whole picture, I may act accordingly and optimize my marketing strategy, and also how to have more profit based on those data. Precision agriculture also, even if we know the maize, if we know the thing, we are able maybe to add more things on, because if we identify the area, we are able to see, for example, how much fertilizer is needed here and there, how much pesticides. So even the distribution is being more precise, and we are able also to see the M&E. If I put this amount of fertilizer and pesticides, so I was expecting to have this amount of improvement in the yield. Do I have it or not? And what to improve? Also, that's something we can have here. So risk assessment also, and credit scoring for the bank, for example, we can see, for example, if we have all the data, the insurance and the bank company also will be more able to back up the claims, because we are seeing the same data as farmer and as insurance. So there will be less disputes about the claims, and the data is really there to help us and see what is really happening. So I think now I will stop there and go to the platform. This was just some idea what I wanted to share before going to the platform. So I'm going now to the platform, and let me. Okay. So all the data presented there, the crop map, the food production forecast, the climate data, we can have access to all those data here. We have the agua.org/Malawi. So we have it in French and in English. So when you come on the About section, for example, we discussed here the problematics, how the data was used, the satellite imageries, the maps, the yield forecast, the anomaly we are tracking, the geobiophysical data, and we also have a video here that can help, for example, those who would like to visit the site. You can come here, and when you play it, it will show all the products and explain what is about, for example, the food crop and everything that is all the data present in the platform. So I will go on the food production. So when you come in the food production, you will see, for example, here is the the food production. So we do the forecast before the harvesting. So the expected food production. So here we did it for Malawi. I think we did it a long time ago, for 2025. So for example, here you have cassava. You may see that here we have cassava by 10 by 10 meters. We have to expect cassava, the higher, the zone where we'll have higher production, where you can expect higher production, where you can expect less. And it's really at 10 by 10 meters. So for example, here I can say, for example, if I choose rice also, and I visualize, you can see that where we have rice, where we have more, where we have less, we have also the amount there. So this is something you can have, and it's downloadable here. You can download it and export it and use it for your own analysis. We have also the crop mapping that I just said. For example, here we have maize for 2025, where you can see, for example, it's between 0 and 1. So meaning that the probability of being maize, we choose the probabilistic approach because in Africa, we know they are mixed cropping. So we really choose the probabilistic approach, meaning that the more you are close to 1, meaning the more it's a pure maize. So here, for example, we have cassava for maize for 2025. You can have, for example, for cassava, let's visualize cassava 2025. You can visualize, you can see, for example, we also have the cassava for 2025. So for each year, we can rerun the model and see where we expect to have those crops. So we also provide crop suitability maps. So meaning that we do first where the cassava is, but we also try to expand where else should be cassava can be grown, where else it's suitable to grow cassava. So for example, in red, we can say where else can we grow cassava in addition to the yellow one where we already are growing cassava. So in terms of meaning that in terms of rainfall, it is suitable to grow cassava in those areas. We hope also, for example, in terms of soil moisture, you can see where it is suitable to grow cassava. You can see that. And we also have a composite index for all of these indices. So you can see that it's a resume of all of these indices, the average. So meaning that in all of those areas, you are able to grow the cassava. So in terms also of biogeophysical data, we are following the biogeophysical data, meaning the NDVI, temperature, rainfall, etc. So we are trying to follow them. So here is a different year. So if I mask I left only 2025, you can see that we are having the minimum, the maximum, and the long-term average compared to the year we are in. So meaning that if the current year maybe is below the average or below the minimum or above the maximum, you can see that we are having maybe some issue, something is happening, and we are doing maybe to explore what will be the impact in the production. We are doing also the same for temperature, so trying to follow the trends. Are we in extremes? Are we in the average? Are we normal? Are we not normal? So when maybe an exception occurs, we can just try to see how these are going to be tracked in the forecast of the yield and the production, and maybe adjust also the forecast we are doing. We have it also for rainfall. Also, that's the same here. You are able also to download the data in different formats, Excel, CSV, and images. We are following also the crop phenology metrics just to see how long the length of the growing season and also how it was. So it's really something we are following. And here you can download the data, everything, and that's really something we are following. So when something happens, we are able to see how these are going to be traversed in the forecast. Right. So in terms also of climate, we are following some data. For example, here we are following the methane emission For example, here you have it in different years. So we are following the meta emission for the country. Here it's 2024, 2025. So for each date, you can just click and visualize and it will change. So here you have really the situation of methane emission. So that can help also monitor things. And we have also the temperature trend analysis. Here we try really to, for example, compare for each district the different months. How, for example, these months was compared to the 40-year previous months. So it is going hotter or is it cooler or are we normal? So if you follow that, we are able to see if we are being hotter or normal or and just adjust. If maybe it's too extreme, we can try to see how also to adjust our forecast and see also what will be the potential impacts on the in terms of production and also food security. So we also do some publication here, so you can find them there. The forecast series. So we are doing really briefs based on the forecast on food crop forecast we are doing, and you can download it there, and everything is there. Really, we are trying really to summarize the things with briefs, and you can download it, and also the data are available there. You can download them, and really it's free and downloadable. We also have an application that is being released. So here it's for those who would like to build an app on top of the application. We have also APIs. So everything present there is also available on the application. It will be launched on App Store and Google Store also. So I think that's I will stop there, and yeah, that's what I have to share with you. Back to you, moderator.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Kadim. Quite interesting, and I think our audience here will be quite interested to learn more about the platforms. And of course, as we indicated, we thought that we should have the presentations for the two platforms combined, so that when now we start the plenary, we should be discussing all the platforms together. So reaching this far, our audience online, we open the floor for questions, comments, and maybe seeking for more clarifications about the platform. So maybe Julie, you can advise how are we going to do it? Should it be by the show of hands, or maybe you can advise on how we are going to do about it? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yes, people are welcome to write questions in the Q&A box, but also they can raise their hands. If you raise your hand, we will unmute you so that you can speak and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Julie. So our guests, I think online, the platform, the presentation on the platforms have been made, and now we open up for questions. As Julie has indicated, you can raise a hand and speak. Alternatively, we have a question and answer box where you can submit your queries. So the floor is open.
While people are thinking of their questions, I have a question for any of the participants and also for any of our opening speakers. I'm just interested in knowing your thoughts on how these platforms could be used in Malawi. Khadim and Tankari talked a little bit about potential uses of the platform, but I'm interested in hearing from you after seeing this demonstration of them. I know you haven't had a long chance to look at them yet, but what are your thoughts on how these could be used? And would it be useful for the ministry? Would it be useful for private sector? I think we have a few people here from the private sector. Can you see yourself using these? Are there any additions to the platforms that could be interesting to make them more useful? So just interested in hearing thoughts from any of the attendees on the platforms. think we have a hand up from Blessings Mlalemba.
Yes, Blessings, you have the floor. You are muted. Blessings, can you unmute yourself? Blessings, are you there? It seems like you are on mute. Now you are not muted, but I think we cannot hear you.
Blessings, as the moderator said, we can't hear you. If your microphone isn't working, you're welcome to type a comment into the chat or the Q&A box.
Yeah, so our guests, as we are still waiting for Blessings. I think the floor is still open for comments, questions, and any other interventions as regards to the platform. Julie has mentioned about the usability of the platform and how the platform aligns with the Malawi context. So let us weigh in our thoughts so that we can inform the fundraising, the conclusion of the platform itself. Yes, Blessings. Now we can hear you, Blessings.
Hello?
Yes, Blessings, we can hear you. You have the floor.
Oh, okay. My name is Emmanuel. I think I'm joining. I'm using another Bezos link. So there's a bit of confusion.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, both presenters. It's quite two interesting platforms, especially for us in the private sector. It's something that we can use to help us see ahead of our business ventures, especially for us in agriculture. My quick question, though, is on agua. I've noticed that there are only two crops for Malawi. Is it something that you're just starting, or you intend to be adding more crops as you proceed? I think that is my only question that I wanted to understand. Is it only two? I've only seen sorghum and maize. Is there a deliberate intention to continue adding more crops to the platform, or we'll start with these two for now? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blessings. Can we have additional interventions so that maybe our presenters can tackle them collectively? All right, maybe as we are still digesting, maybe I can give the floor to the presenters to respond to the question by Blessings.
Thanks, Mr. Moderator. I'll ask Khadim to reply to the question from Blessings or from Emmanuel. And there's also two questions in the Q&A, which I can respond to right now, and anyone else who wants to add can also do that. There's a question from Sydney Simbi asking, on the platforms, how has the farmer been actively involved? And a question from Alfred Kambwiri, is the forum in the public domain and accessible to anyone? And yes, both of the platforms, the FS Core platform and the Agua platforms, are publicly available. I put the links in the chat and I'll add them again in just a moment. We'll also email them after this meeting. We definitely want everyone to access and use them, and feel free to share feedback on them also. And for Sydney's question about the involvement of farmers, maybe I can ask our moderator to speak on this a little bit also, but under DERPIn, we collaborated with the Farmers Union of Malawi as well as with the Malawi University of Science and Technology. And I know that our FUM colleagues helped a lot in terms of the data collection. So the Agua platform was based on a combination of satellite data and also ground truth data that was collected. And the data collection was led by MUST, but also with the assistance of FUM to help sensitize farmers and help to carry out the data collection. Since then, they've also been working with us in terms of dissemination and outreach. However, I still think there is more work that we can all continue doing, even though the platform has been developed. The DERPIn project is officially closed, but the platforms are still going to be maintained and used, and we're definitely committed to helping make sure they're useful. So we'll be working with our colleagues at FUM to, I guess, learn about what the experience of using the platforms is for the farmer organizations, but also for farmers themselves. I know that a digital platform may not be accessible and usable for every person, certainly not for every farmer. We're also developing a mobile phone application, which will have the same information as the Agua platform. And, we certainly have ideas about maybe working with extension to make the information more accessible to farmers. So that is an area that we're still interested in pursuing. And yeah, Derek, please feel free to add to that if you'd like. Otherwise, we could move to Hadim for an answer on the Agua presentation.
I think you have said it all, Jolie, to say that the main reason why Farmers in Malawi was part of this partnership was that the farmer voice should be incorporated in the development of the platform. And as a union, through our membership, we duly participated in the processes of developing the platform so that we should align to the needs of the farmer. But we understand that the platform is all inclusive. It's not just addressing farmer issues. We understand that even other stakeholders are supposed to benefit from the platform. So on the part of the farmers, we can confidently say that our membership participated in the development of the platform.
Okay, so I think I will go directly to respond to the question. I think on the Agua platform we have three crops. We have maize, we have cassava, we have also rice. And this was maybe the main data collection we have three. We were not able to do all the crops. But the idea is that if we have the data and the available, we are able to expand the work and because it will be the same methodology, the same model that we are doing. And also one thing, also these three crops is where we have the historical disaggregation, because there is also a need to have the production disaggregated at pixel level. So I think that's also something that was not obvious. So the main issue maybe is also having the historical production disaggregated for other crops. But I think if people are interested in other crops, we are open to work on different other crops, etc. And other countries we may have more crop, but it's mainly because we are able to have the disaggregation for the last 20 years. So I think that's also something that have been taken into account here. But we at least have three crops for Malawi, and we are also open to work with people if they are interested in adding more crops. And as Julie has said, we will keep monitoring and also doing the forecast each year. So meaning that the platform will be really there, and we will keep enhancing the products and the data we are generating. Yeah, thanks.
Of course, we are just having general comments on the chat. I think they're just comments that are just highlighting the importance of the platform to extension and other service providers and stakeholders in agri-food system. We are yet to have another question, but I should also just indicate to the audience that Julie has just shared the links for the platform, all the two platforms. Julie has shared the links through the chat, so you can get into, you can click those links and get into the platforms and have first-hand experience with the platforms. They are really nice platforms, even to the researchers. We have seen some students from the Agricultural College, Rwanda, also participating in this deliberation. I understand that that will also help them as they are doing various studies. We have PhD and master students. So it seems like we do not have any other intervention or a question. Maybe Joel, you can guide us on the next steps. So far, it seems like we have exhausted all the discussions and interventions.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. We have actually one more question in the Q&A saying, I was involved in the data collection. The farmers themselves were more than eager about the outcomes of this project. What measures have you put in place so that the farmers have the feedback? So thank you very much. Thank you to you and to everyone who was involved in the data collection. It was really, I know it was very hard work and in difficult conditions sometimes, but we really appreciate what you were able to do. So thank you for that. And for helping farmers have feedback. About 2 months ago in August, we organized a session in collaboration with FUM for farmers in all around the country. They came to Lilongwe or some joined online, and we presented the information that we had so far. We let them know of the progress of the project. We've also been working to try to disseminate the links to the platforms as much as we can through FUM, and we'll continue to do this after this. So I think, yeah, Derek and to our other FUM colleagues, we'll stay in touch after this, and maybe in your ongoing work with farmers, since I know that you do quite a bit across the country, we would certainly hope that the DERPIn platforms and the findings of the platforms in terms of production forecasts, et cetera, are something that you can integrate into your work and use on an ongoing basis with farmers. And we also mentioned extension, and I think one of the commenters also mentioned that extension services, that it could be useful to extension services. That's also something that we would love to see happen. What DERPIn has tried to do is to increase the availability of information, but we know that there are already information communication channels that are active and working in Malawi. And so we want to supply this to your existing communication channels so that there's more information that can be shared through the platforms that are already ongoing. So it's a long answer to say that we're working with FUM and also very interested in working with other existing information channels to make the information available to farmers. So I think that was the last question. So if you would allow, moderator, as we shift to the closing session, I would first like to very quickly launch a short 2-question poll. I think, so participants, I think you should be able to see on your screen now just a very short questionnaire of only 2 questions. We want to know if the event today was useful for you. And we also are interested in knowing if you think that you will probably be using the DERPIn platforms, the FS Core platform and the Agua platform. So you should see these on your screen. I see a few people are responding. So please go ahead and respond to these questions in the next few minutes. But also, moderator, I think we can shift to the closing speakers. So over to you to introduce them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our closing speakers, we have 3 of them. So the first one is Miss Barbara from GIZ, who is project lead. So as the participants respond to the small questionnaire, I give the floor to Miss Barbara to do the closing remarks. Thank you. Miss Barbara, are you online? Can you hear us? Julie, are you able to see her from your end?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable representatives, researchers, scientists, farmers, fellows in mission, and dear colleagues, as you may have noticed, I have a cold. I don't have a strange voice usually, so I apologize for not putting the video on. With great pleasure have I listened and learned today about the results achieved in the use case of Malawi. And I feel honored indeed because this initiative is a truly authentic initiative of the African continent. The innovation was generated by Academia 2063 and the proposal came from Academia. From the very beginning, the ownership was with a partner in the driver's seat. It is indeed an emerging cooperation solution and the one with a future in the volatile world governance of today. It is a lighthouse of South-South cooperation. GIZ's role was only a facilitating and funding one. Together with Benin, Ghana, Senegal, and Uganda, we are celebrating the successful completion of the groundbreaking project, DERPIn. On behalf of GIZ and the Fund of Promotion of Innovation in Agriculture, I sincerely thank our implementing partners, academia, and esteemed colleagues from the Pan-African Farmers Organizations, as well as the country-level research partners for making this happen. Thank you very much for sharing your moment of success with us, with GIZ. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barbara. Now we give the floor to Dr. Babafeni, who is the Chief Executive Officer of PAFO. Babafeni.
Thank you, moderator. Distinguished guests, representatives of the government of Malawi, esteemed colleagues from Academia 2063, farmers organizations, development partners, the private sector, and all stakeholders attending this webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are participating. As we come to the close of this important national launch, allow me to express our heartfelt appreciation to Academia 2063 and the government of Malawi for making today's event a reality. The introduction of the DERPIn platform and its analytical tools being launched today here in Malawi marks a major step forward in advancing evidence-based policymaking for agricultural transformation. This initiative arrives at a defining moment for our continent and for Malawi in particular, as we seek to strengthen resilience, productivity, and inclusiveness within our food systems. The DERPIn platform offers a unique opportunity to ensure that data, evidence, and policy analysis are not confined to research institutions, but are effectively translated into actionable insights that guide decision-making from national policy frameworks down to the farm level. For farmers, this innovation represents hope for better targeted interventions, more efficient investment planning, and greater accountability in the implementation of agricultural programs. By bridging to ensure that every policy, every budget, every action is backed by solid evidence and measurable outcomes. On behalf of PAFO and its members, we affirm our readiness to work hand in hand with Academia 2063, the Ministry of Agriculture in Malawi, and our partners to maintain the use of DERPIn tools across national and regional farmer networks. This collaboration will help farmers and their organizations to better articulate their priorities, monitor implementation progress, and contribute meaningfully to national dialogue on agricultural transformation. Let me end by once again commending all partners, particularly Academia 2063 and Julie Collins and all the team that provided the technical expertise for developing the platform. The GIZ also for the financial support, the government of Malawi for their support, and Farmers Union of Malawi, the project focal point in Malawi, and all stakeholders for their vision and dedication. Together, let us continue to invest in knowledge, innovation, and partnership that empower Africa's farmers and ensure that data truly drive policymaking and food system transformation. Together, let's move from evidence to action and from action to impact. Thank you all for your attention, participation, and commitment. God bless you. Back to the...
God bless you to Dr. Babafemi for the remarks. I now give the floor to Dr. Davis Alaba, Managing Director for Academia 2063, to give the final closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Derek. Greetings, everyone. It is a distinct pleasure to join this meeting and to speak today. I think most of what's been said, I don't want to repeat, and I stand on existing protocols. I don't want to repeat everything that's been said, but I wish to reiterate our sincere gratitude to every single partner who has made this a reality and who is making this a reality. To our GIZ, to the government of Malawi, to the farmer organizations, to other technical partners, everyone who is committed to seeing inclusive and shared prosperity in Malawi through the deployment of high-level science and technology. At Academia 2063, we focus on the science that we need to build the Africa that we want. And we are well on the way through these partnerships. And so it is again with gratitude and a heart full of thanks that we on behalf of the organization, I say thank you to everyone for your commitment, for your focus, for your investment to ensure that we achieve this common shared collective goal. Thank you very much for today. And we look forward to, of course, supporting every one of you on this drive. And it is, I'm making on behalf of Academia 2063 a firm commitment that we stand shoulder to shoulder with the government of Malawi and all other stakeholders who are interested in seeing Malawi prosper and thrive, that we will always be here to provide you that backstopping as a technical partner. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Davis, and have a good day too. Reaching this far, I hand over to Julie, maybe for just final words. Otherwise, I think it has been a very wonderful audience, very wonderful presentations. And moving forward, as Dr. Davis has indicated, it's now more action, more informed decision-making, how we're using the platforms and more earnings, of course. So Julie, you have the floor for parting shots. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, and thank you so much to all of our speakers today, also to my colleagues who presented the platforms. And finally, thank you so much to all our participants. Thank you for joining, taking time from your busy days to learn about what DERPIn has done and what we have presented today. We very much appreciate it and are looking forward to hearing your feedback on use of the platforms too. We're committed to maintaining these, we're committed to improving them, we're committed to updating them. So please do continue to be in touch and let us know your experiences through the platforms. I think both of the platforms have contact us options. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm putting my my email address also. Please use the second one and not the first one. I made a typo. So we're always happy for your feedback. And I can leave it at this. I think that all of our speakers have very well expressed our gratitude for the project. So thank you very much and have a nice rest of your day and week. You're muted, Derek.
Oh, thank you. The event is officially closed. Thank you. Let's keep the feedback flowing. Also, just to mention that as whom, we can also be getting some of the feedback that we can channel to Academia 2063. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.